We're going to use a special kind of function called an is function. You can see it down there, is, and we have to use this with an if function. In the first column, I'll explain in these three columns what this means in the green part. So the first column, you just have people's names, that's all. It goes down to row 57, a list of names. In the next column you have their age, and you can see the ages here, and then sometimes you see this person can vote. That means the person must be 18 years old. That's the voting age in this country. Then you see some more ages which are below 18. Then again, this person can vote. That means they're 18 or more. So sometimes you have numbers, other times you have text, and this can be confusing. So we're going to have to use an is statement where we're trying to find out if there is text, then we have to imagine this means the person is 18. In the next column, number of years left, that's how many years they have left until they're 18. So you can see this person is 15, they have 3 years left until they're 18. And this is a calculation. If you click onto this one, you'll see up here the calculation is equals 18 minus B12, whatever is in B12. And this formula equals 18 minus B12, that formula is repeated down here, although of course it moves down the numbers here. But it's the same formula. And when it gets to text, it's still the same formula. Equals 18 minus, in this case, B19. It doesn't know how to do this calculation because it's trying to do 18 minus text, and it can't do this. That's the problem, and we have to try and fix this problem. Let's start by going back to the first blue box, and this is where we want to put our answer. And we have to remember that there's already a calculation in here, and we're going to do an if statement on top of that, and the if statement will contain the is function. That sounds quite complicated, but it's not really if you know how to do an if statement. But the problem is we already have a calculation here, and we must delete this calculation. If you don't delete this, then it won't work. So the very first thing to do is to click here, up here at the formula bar, and delete. This must be empty. And then you'll see there's nothing in the blue box. Now we're going to use an if statement. So that's here. If. OK. And in the first part, this is where we use the is statement, and that means is text bracket B12 close bracket. So what that means is if B12 is text, in other words if it's not numbers, well, what do we do if that's true? If it's true that it's text, then the person must be 18. So we'll put 0 here, because the number of years left until they're 18 will be 0. If it's false, then in here we do 18 minus whatever the age is in B12, and then do OK. And then you can drag this formula down, and watch what happens when we get to the first one with text. It makes it 0. I'll continue dragging this down and then explain a bit more. So drag it right down to the bottom, and you see you get 5 marks. Let's look more closely at one which has text here, and then we'll look at the formula. So click on the formula, and then look at the function, click the function button, and you'll see it's changed the letters to capital letters. That's okay. So what it's doing is, if B19 in this case is text, so here's B19 here, if it's text, then put 0 in the blue box. If it's not text, if it's a number, then do 18, because that's the age you have to be able to vote, minus whatever age they are now, and then OK. So what it's asking is, if the person is 15, like this one, how many years do they have left until they're 18? 3. If it says this person can vote, then they must be at least 18. So over here, if there is text in here, then how many years do they have to wait until they're 18? None.